Hello and welcome to Immigrant Money TV. Today we're talking about one of the biggest decisions every immigrant faces. Should you rent or should you buy a house? This is a topic filled with pressure, emotion, and expectations. And today we're going to break it down with clarity so you can make the right decision for your life. Immigrants love to ask one question: when are you buying a house? But nobody asks the real questions. Can you afford it without stress? Do you have 6 to 12 months of mortgage payments saved? Do you actually need that big house? Or are you buying it to impress people who don't pay your bills? Because here's the truth we never talk about. The bigger the house, the bigger the maintenance. The bigger the house, the bigger the pressure. And the bigger the house, the smaller your freedom becomes. Most immigrants don't buy a home. They buy a lifestyle they can't maintain, a mortgage they can't breathe under, a responsibility that steals their time, their sleep, and their peace. They go from shift to shift, overtime to overtime, working themselves to exhaustion, just to pay for a house they're never home to live in. That's not the American dream. That's a silent sacrifice nobody sees. When we arrive in America, we inherit a script that says success equals homeownership, a script that says renting means you're behind, a script that says you must show your people back home that you made it. But the truth is simple. A house is not the American dream. Freedom is. Stability is. Options are. And sometimes, the fastest way to lose all three is to buy a house before you're ready. Let's talk about the real cost of owning a home, not the mortgage, the full picture. Property taxes, insurance, HOA fees, maintenance, repairs, appliances, roof issues, plumbing problems, landscaping, closing costs, moving costs, furniture, and the biggest one, interest. People love to say the mortgage is cheaper than rent, but the mortgage is only the beginning. When you add everything else, the true cost of owning a home can be thousands more every month. And if you don't have savings, if you don't have margin, if you don't have a cushion, one emergency can break you. This is why having 6 to 12 months of mortgage payments saved is not optional. It's protection, it's stability, it's peace. Let's talk about space. Do you really need that big house? Do you need 5 bedrooms? Do you need 3 living rooms? Do you need a basement you'll never use? A big house is beautiful when you actually need it, and when you can truly afford it. But buying a big house becomes dangerous when you're doing it to prove a point, when you're buying because someone else bought, when you're buying because you feel embarrassed to rent, when you're buying because you want to show your people back home that you made it. That's when the dream becomes a burden. Because the bigger the house, the bigger the consequences. Bigger maintenance, bigger repairs, bigger utility bills, bigger responsibilities, bigger financial pressure. And slowly, the bigger the house becomes, the smaller your freedom gets. Now let's talk about renting. Renting is not failure. Renting is not dead money. Renting is strategy. Renting gives you flexibility. It gives you time to understand the market. It gives you time to build your credit. It gives you time to save. It gives you time to invest. It gives you time to breathe. And here's the truth. If you're buying only for equity, renting and investing may build wealth faster. Because when interest rates are high and home prices are inflated and your savings are low, buying a house can trap your money instead of growing it. Your cash becomes locked inside the walls. You can't move it. You can't grow it. You can't access it without debt. Renting keeps your money liquid. Investing keeps your money growing. Let's look at a simple example. If renting costs $2,000 a month and buying costs $2,000 for the mortgage, that sounds equal. But when you add taxes, insurance, HOA, repairs, and maintenance, that $2,000 mortgage becomes $3,000 or more. That extra $1,000 every month could be invested. It could be saved. It could be used to build your foundation. This is why renting is not a step backward. It's a step towards stability. Now let's talk about timing. Timing matters more than pressure, more than pride, more than comparison. Buying a home is not a race. It's not a competition. It's not a trophy. It's a long-term commitment that requires patience. You need to understand your job stability. You need to understand your income. You need to understand your expenses. You need to understand your goals. If you buy too early, you trap yourself. If you buy at the right time, you free yourself. Now let's talk about the long-term consequences. Most people think about buying a house in terms of today. They think about the down payment. They think about the approval. They think about the excitement of getting the keys. But very few think about the next 10 years. And that's where the real consequences live. A house can shape your entire future. It can determine where your children grow up. It can determine what jobs you can take. It can determine how much money you can save. It can determine how much freedom you have. If you buy too early, you lock yourself into a lifestyle you can't adjust. You can't move for better opportunities. You can't downsize without selling. You can't pause payments if life changes. You can't escape the responsibility. A house can become a financial anchor that slows your progress for years. And the emotional consequences are just as real. Stress becomes normal. Overtime becomes mandatory. Vacations disappear. Sleep becomes shorter. Your life becomes centered around one goal: don't lose the house. But when you buy at the right time, the long-term consequences are different. Your home becomes a foundation, not a burden. You can build equity without fear. You can plan your future with confidence. You can grow your family without pressure. You can live in the house you paid for, not the house that controls you. This is why patience matters. This is why timing matters. This is why emotional discipline matters. Because the decision you make today will shape your next decade. And the goal is not to buy fast. The goal is to buy right. Now let's talk about when buying makes sense. Buying makes sense when your income is stable, when your savings are strong, when you have an emergency fund, when you plan to stay in the area for years, when the house fits your lifestyle, when the payment doesn't stress you, when you're buying for utility, not ego. Buying makes sense when the house supports your life, not when your life is sacrificed to support the house. Before you buy anything, ask yourself 3 questions. Can I afford this mortgage without stress? Do I have 6 to 12 months of payments saved? Will this house give me freedom or take it away? If the answer is no, you're not ready. Because if you're buying a house just to prove something, you're not building wealth. You're building a trap. Here's the truth nobody tells immigrants. Renting or buying is not good or bad. It's not success or failure. It's not rich or poor. It's subjective. It depends on your income, your stability, your savings, your goals, your timeline, your emotional discipline. Both renting and buying can be smart. Both renting and buying can be foolish. The real question is simple. Can you afford it? Can you maintain it? And will it protect your freedom? Because the real American dream is not the house. It's the ability to choose what's right for you.